Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WIFR Fastcast. The Forest City always has something happening, whether it's a sporting event or a big concert. There's always something to do here in Rockford. WIFR's Forrest Nelson takes you center stage with what's coming up in the area.
Welcome to Center Stage, your go-to source for all the hottest concerts, shows, and events happening right here in our community. Whether you're a live music fanatic, a theater lover, or someone looking for your next night out, we've got you covered. From local intimate venues to big ticket shows, from underground performances to family-friendly events. If it's happening on a stage near you, we'll make sure you know about it. Let's get started with Friday, January 23rd at the Hard Rock. Martin Lawrence is bringing his Y'all Still Know What It Is tour to the Hard Rock Live stage. Doors open at 7 and the laughs start at 8. As a reminder, all events and shows at the Hard Rock Casino are 21 plus. Over at the Hard Rock Cafe, catch one-man band Andrew Robinson at 6 for acoustic folk and rock. At 9, the Real Deal Band will take the stage for a night of R&B. At 7 at Council Oak, have a night of soulful jazz with the Yvonne J. Sams Trio. If you're looking to spend your night downtown, you could catch the Ice Hogs game as they take on the Texas Stars. After the game, prove that your emo phase wasn't just a phase at District with Blank 281, a Blink 182 tribute. If that isn't your vibe, you can head over to the Music Box at 8 for an evening with Ike Riley for some classic rock and roll. If the classy atmosphere of the Music Box isn't the move, get down to the Lyron Hall at 7 for a fish fry and music from the Old Fogertys. On Saturday, see Danny Graham's at 6 at the Hard Rock Cafe for pop, punk, and rock. At 7, get funky at Council Oak where Crunch takes the stage. Maybe the Music Box is the move at 8 where singer-songwriter and fiddle player Ann Harris is performing. Because the Bears aren't playing on Sunday, get out and see the Tony Vecchio Quartet at Council Oak at 5 p.m. for jazz and blues. Fast forward to Thursday, Swing Shift brings jazz and pop to Council Oak at 6. The Music Box will have Miles and Kelly at 7:30, but the BMO is where the big show is. Disney on Ice presents Frozen and Encanto at 7. For all of my fellow wallflowers and introverts, don't worry, I have some ideas for you too. Friday night on Netflix, watch climber Alex Honnold climb the Taipei 101, one of the world's tallest buildings with no ropes, no safety net, and no second takes. That starts at 7. The U.S. women's national soccer team takes on Paraguay for a friendly at 4:30 Saturday afternoon on HBO Max. Later that night, UFC 324 on Paramount Plus sees Sean O'Malley go head-to-head with Song Yadong and Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy for the main event. The silver screen has some new movies like Return to Silent Hill, a rated-R horror film banking on that early 2000s nostalgia. It's currently sitting at a stark 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. Do what you will with that information. Also hitting the screens is a sci-fi action-adventure blockbuster, Mercy, starring Chris Pratt. I imagine you've seen the trailer already. It's sitting at a nice 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Put on some good headphones as New Music Friday brings some big projects from big names. Megadeth's self-titled 7th and final album is officially out. Indie pop outfit The Format releases its first album in 20 years titled Boycott Heaven. Metal vocalist Poppy has a new record called Empty Hands. I've enjoyed some of her previous work, specifically with hardcore band Knocked Loose. And finally, Louis Tomlinson of One Direction fame is releasing his third studio album, How Did I Get Here? While we're talking about One Direction, Harry Styles recently announced his new album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. It's set to come out on March 6th. He also announced a world tour with the only US shows being 30 nights at Madison Square Garden in New York with special guest Jamie XX. In other music news, BTS has a new album coming out March 20th. It's titled Ararong, might have got that wrong, and is the Korean band's 5th album. They're also playing Soldier Field in Chicago on August 27th and 28th. Tickets range from $80 to $800, and resale has already hit around $4,000 for a single ticket. Can confirm, got my tickets this morning, $800 a pop, but I'm in the front row, baby.
And that is what's center stage here this week. Of course, don't miss out on these incredible performances and events happening right in your backyard. And for links to these events, you can head to WIFR.com. And now turning back to our headlines here, the wind chills this morning made it feel close to 40 below, and it really doesn't seem like there's any relief in sight. Let's take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast. So taking a look at how things are sitting right about now, you can see we're currently sitting at about -7 degrees. Yeah, you didn't hear that wrong. -7 degrees here. Fortunately, it does look like we're going to be warming up by about 2 degrees during the 4 o'clock hour for a grand total of -5 degrees. So certainly going to be a very cold one out there. You can see as we continue on throughout the rest of the night, pretty much by the time we hit the 6 o'clock hour, we're going to be 10 below zero there. So definitely going to be a very chilly night. And of course, like we said, those wind chills here are going to make it seem like, make it feel like it's about -35 to about -45 here at any point across the state line. So certainly if you have to go outside for whatever reason, you're going to want to be bundling up. But of course, our First Alert weather team also wants to make sure to say, hey, if you don't have to go outside, please don't. And that is, of course, coming from our First Alert weather team. And of course, we also want to make sure that we're keeping you guys updated with some of those cold temperatures coming up here by asking you guys to download our WIFR First Alert weather app. We'll have more on that coming up here very soon. But of course, also several buildings across the state line opened their doors Friday to combat that cold weather in Winnebago County. Rockford Rescue Mission, City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department, and the Loves Park City Hall Gymnasium will be open. In Boone, Ida Public Library and the Belvedere Salvation Army will also be open as a warming center. And over in Stevenson County, Freeport's Public Library, the Farm Bureau, and Lincoln Mall are also good options. We have a full list of those warming centers on our website at WIFR.com. Nearly half of all U.S. home heating equipment fires happen from December to February. That's according to the National Fire Protection Association. Some tips to prevent fires include residents keeping an eye on those space heaters and never using things like stoves to produce heat. Keep anything that can burn at least 3 feet away from all heating equipment. WIFR's Bria Walters speaks with North Park Fire Deputy Chief Brian Kuntz about how prevention is essential for residents and firefighters during the cold months.
Hello everybody, this is WIFR reporter Bria Walters. Today I've been out and about at a couple fire stations where I talked to local firefighters about keeping houses warm and safe using heating equipment this winter season. You can watch our afternoon shows later on today to hear what they have to say about the safety in preventing fires when using things like fireplaces and your furnaces and space heaters.
Rockford police look into a fight turned shooting at a bar Friday morning. Investigators believe a 48-year-old man was shot at Stumpy's Bar in the 5800 block of Columbia Parkway. The man was taken to a local hospital and is currently in stable condition. So far, no suspects have been named. 46-year-old Ray Griffin is behind bars. He's accused of robbing a Walgreens in the 3800 block of Auburn Street. Rockford police say the employee told them on Tuesday night Griffin took the cash register drawer, threatened her, and took money. He's also accused of running away from the area. He was later taken into custody and faces several charges, including robbery and aggravated battery. A federal jury finds Juan Espinoza Martinez not guilty of placing a $10,000 hit on U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino. Prosecutors say they have a screenshot of a deal where Espinoza Martinez offered a $10,000 bounty for Bovino's murder. They also believed Espinoza Martinez said he was a high-ranking member of the Latin Kings, which is a gang. His lawyers argued that he was not a part of that gang, and Espinoza Martinez's brother described him as a union carpenter who has 3 kids. The city of Rockford condemns Windsor Apartments on North Main Street Tuesday. The 110-year-old building has 11 apartments inside. According to the city, the reason for the shutdown is because the building has no central heating. One resident says it's been months without consistent warmth. Another tenant at Versailles Apartments, which has the same owner as Windsor, worries that building could be next. WIFR's Nathaniel Langley speaks to renters concerned about the poor conditions that could leave them homeless.
Hey folks, WIFR's Nathaniel Langley here, and if you live at the Windsor Apartments in downtown Rockford, this is the sign you came home to on January 20th, saying condemned, do not enter. That's an order from the city of Rockford. But one resident I spoke with who lives at Windsor is worried she'll end up homeless. Be sure to tune later today on WIFR and eventually on WIFR.com as we investigate the closing of this building.
And of course, those stories and more will be coming up in our shows this afternoon and this evening at 4, 5, 6, and 10. And of course, like I was saying earlier, we want to make sure that we're keeping you guys safe out there with those extremely cold temperatures and wind chills. And the best way that we can do that is by asking you guys to download our WIFR First Alert Weather app. I'm going to leave this QR code up here for just a quick second. But for those of you at home, all you have to do is pull out your smartphone, open up your camera app, and scan this QR code. Now, this isn't the only app that we have. We also have our WIFR News app that we'd like you guys to download. These are two separate apps. Of course, with this QR code also, just pull out your smartphone, open your camera app, scan that. If you have a Samsung phone, it's going to be the Google Play Store. If you have an iPhone, it's the Apple App Store. And then you're going to download both of these apps. And once you're on there, you're going to also hit allow notifications. And those little alerts that are going to pop up there right on your home screen. All you got to do is just click on those, and it's going to open up to the latest updated article on either the First Alert Weather app or on the News app. And then, of course, also you can see like the big smart TV I have behind me. If you guys have those at home, we want to ask you guys to also download our WIFR app. We're available on Amazon TV, Roku TV, Android TV, and Apple TV.